this is like more chill out kind of thing, right? Different to the other day because we are happy today. Hello, everyone, guys. Welcome to another community call of Kleros. The 17th of June of 2026 World Cup Day, right, G? How are you?
Doing good. After yesterday, doing a little bit better, but today, lots of emotions, lots of screaming yesterday because of the goals. So they put like a chill music, but I think we need like some World Cup music for next week.
I guess we have to see what we can put on for World Cup music. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was not expecting like a win of 3-0. I was a bit not like very bullish about Argentina for this World Cup because I mean the players are a bit older. They are playing, in less competitive teams. Let's face it. I mean, last World Cup Messi was playing in the PSG, I think, and now he's playing in Miami. But I mean, I'm happy I seem to be proven wrong for now, at least. I mean, hopefully, I don't want to be right about this, but like. I'm super happy also that I'm able to see this in Argentina. I mean, this is I guess this is my favorite time of the year every 4 years.
It's great. And I think
you are for Argentina, not Brazil, right? Yeah.
Sorry, we got a little issue with the connection. What did you say?
No, I mean you are for Argentina, not for Brazil, as you always say.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. It's not just for marketing. Okay. Yeah, you were saying something, Jean. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we could not ask for a better start of the World Cup than a 3-0 from Messi. Last time Argentina started maybe with not a great match in the beginning, so let's see how it goes this time.
Yeah, and I guess we have different things for today. I think it's if there is William there, we can bring him. I mean, William, I was with him for a while in the past week. We will explain what we were doing, but let's speak a bit first about the World Cup, William, and Canada. We actually watched a game together with William. It was Canada against who was it, William?
Bosnia.
Against Bosnia, yeah, that took Italy's place. I mean, we don't have Fortunato today, so it's good. So there is no problem there. Yeah, I mean, what do you think of Canada's odds for the World Cup? I mean, it's the first time that you're playing since '86, right?
No, we played the last time, but this is only our third total World Cup. '86. 2022 and now 2026.
Okay, and what is your? I mean, what do you think is going to happen with you? What would you consider like a success?
Yeah, I mean, already like our previous two World Cups, we had gone 0-6, which I mean, we had hard opponents. Like last time, we had Belgium, Croatia, Morocco. Croatia, Morocco made it to the finals. Belgium's really good. In '86, we also had really hard opponents. We had to play France. Like we played like the Soviet Union. Apparently, we played Hungary, who's really good that year. Apparently, so I mean, like this time, I feel we have a more manageable group. Gotta play teams in front of you, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
And you told me that last time. Sorry, one thing. '86. You told me also that one of the players of Canada was an electrician, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, it was a sort of semi-amateur team. I think that there were some pros, but there were like a good chunk of the national team in '86 was people who did not play football professionally, and in particular the player who scored the goal to like send us to the World Cup in like the last round of the CONCACAF qualifiers. His day job, if I recall correctly, was as a water meter reader. He worked for the water company and would go around like checking water meters to like see if how much water people are using.
This is kind of I guess he's not working at that anymore because now we're using IoT devices that write on the blockchain how much water you consume. So again, hopefully he could reinvent himself into like a football player or something.
So the other two times that Canada played the World Cup, Argentina won the World Cup. Am I right? And this is the third time?
Yeah, I think, yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
I want to believe.
Yeah.
I remember, the 2018 World Cup. This is, I think I already mentioned this, but it's worth mentioning again. The 2018 World Cup. So we were like, it was like from June, July 2018, and we were like just starting the project, and we were like doing the token sale, the first token sale we did, and it started and it finished exactly during the final of the 2018 World Cup in the second half. I was like watching the final, and I was like checking, also like, how the sale was going. So there was I guess, it was some, and we really didn't plan it obviously that way. We will have planned it for like a different moment. But like for some reason, some cosmic reason, it just fell on the right of the moment of the final of a Sunday. I think it was a Sunday in the afternoon in Argentina, and it was the World Cup final, and that's when the finalized also so two finals at the same time happening. And one thing also that is also interesting to mention, since Kleros started, so there was the 2018 World Cup won by France, 22 won by Argentina. So since Kleros started, the two teams, two countries that are like a part of the Kleros founding, team, are basically those that won the World Cup. What does this mean for you guys? Right? So Argentina or France are likely to win this time. Okay, enough about football. For at least for a few minutes. Let's speak a bit about what happened last week. We were with William. We did a tour on the UK. So tell us, we have like different partnerships for research that we have developed over the years, and we organized this trip to promote Kleros into the communities of academics and also practitioners who are involved into this ecosystem. So we had a conference that we did last Monday, not this one, the previous one, at King's College in London. It was in the context of the AI Institute at King's College, with whom we organized last year in April a conference, a full-day conference about mechanism design, centralized justice. It was more like a mechanism design kind of thing on last Monday. So I guess I would just let William to speak a bit more about that, because he was the main character of the presentation. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I had a good sort of technical talk about a lot of the game theory research I did, or that I do. The organizer specifically asked for social choice theory, so I gave a social choice theory sort of maximalist talk where like all of the different voting trade-offs I think was well received. There was a lot of interesting feedback. People had some comments to related mechanisms, some of which they're currently developing and haven't published anywhere yet. So I have some preprints to read now from these people we talked to. Generally, lots of interesting comments and good discussions.
So this is on Mondays. We did that, and then on Wednesday we had another larger event that we organized at Oxford. As you know, because we have mentioned this several times, we have two agreements with Oxford to provide funding and guidance to two doctorate students there. One of them is doing research on computer science, which Owen, and he's researching mechanism design and how voting systems affect Kleros and how they can be improved. And the other one, Ekin, is working at the legal department, and he's particularly linked to the social legal studies department research center, which is part of the law faculty. And he researches how different legal private legal systems are start in different new industries. We have different mentioned many times about how the London Stock Exchange started with brokers communities meeting in cafes or in the street, and Ekin is studying that type of phenomenon in the context of DeFi. How you can start a community of DeFi traders, and how this at some point starts developing a mechanism for resolving disputes, mechanism for making rules, and how these mechanisms are generally speaking interacting with old traditional legal systems. So this is a really interesting research topic, and also lots of interest for people who are into private governance ideas. And so this is what's happening in DeFi. We have covered this in a previous call. When we were mentioning about the DeFi United, bailout, and all of the situations happening when some hack happens, and how these communities organize themselves, and how this should at some point transition from a more ad hoc system to rules, governance, and more like a structured way to resolve situations. So this is the two main things that happen there. Maybe, William, you want to mention a bit about what was your presentation, in particular this idea of the transition from first generation to second generation decentralized justice system, and what this means for mechanism design, because that was the main topic of the computer science and mechanism design talk.
Yeah, so I mean, these are themes that I've talked about before in various contexts, but basically the ways in which Kleros V2, with its greater modularity for more flexible mechanisms, particularly around using some of the new identity tools that were not available when Kleros V1 was built in 2019. Like proof of personhood and SPTs can be incorporated into jury selection, and then what does that mean for attack resistance? Is that as robust as the V1 approach? It turns out that the sort of social mechanisms, the kind of identity tools, can be layered with the kind of financial guarantees of kind of crypto economic financialization in very compatible ways, where their attack resistance reinforce each other. And you kind of have to break both to break the system. So I talked about sort of those themes and kind of what Kleros V2, sort of once we've developed all of the possible modules that we expect, that have different kinds of social mechanisms, what we could expect that to look like. And then also sort of, kind of relatedly, how we expect these systems to interact with AI participants. What will AI jurors look like? Maybe they need some kind of SPTs for what kind of AI they are, and generally, our expectations for AI participation in these systems.
Yeah, that's what we are putting a lot of. Go ahead.
What is the background of these students? Are they familiar with blockchain? Do they have some kind of idea of how these applications work? Or what do they know about that?
I mean, the students, who exactly? I mean, the ones that are doing their doctorate with us, or in general, people there?
In general, the people that attended this King's College event.
Yeah.
So the King's College event was, maybe there are a few doctoral students, but it was mostly the sort of academics in the department in their sort of AI institute, and so I mean they're I'm not sure that they're all blockchain experts, but they're they're at least very familiar with the game theory research, and it's not that hard to abstract the blockchain aspects if they're not familiar with those. The Oxford event was a more sort of heterogeneous audience, I think. A lot of law people, some computer science people, some graduate students as well.
Yeah. Also, there is in the Oxford thing. The thing with Oxford is that you have such a big critical mass of people, that are studying, researching, or passing by there. That you have a ultra expert people. The questions that we were asked at the Oxford panel were straight to the bone about everything. It was not a huge conference. It was Oxford is also famous because of this thing called the tutorial system. When you go to Oxford, the system is for learning. It's not based on a big lectures. It's based more on you having a professor tutoring you, and you every week, like you have to present like an essay, and then you meet with the professor, like, and maybe you, another student, and the professor, and like it's a really like a mentorship based experience. So like I mean, you can tell that people like have like yeah, it's amazing. Well, it's not surprising because it's Oxford, obviously, but it's like basically like the type of questions that were asked in our panel. So William mentioned about the panel where he was. I mean, I was the moderator, but William was the main character there, and he was a mechanism design. And then Rob Dean, who is in our board, he also gave a talk about how himself, from the point of view of the practitioner, works with these new AI tools, Claude and others, for improving, the analysis of evidence, and all of the things that we are working on now a lot is how we can use these tools to make decisions. Having an AI being a Kleros juror, and then what we are finding, and this is what I'm interested in these days in particular, is that different AI models, when faced with the same evidence, same case, and same everything, might end up with different decisions, because they have different trainings and they have different, ways of in the end analyzing the case and voting. And this has a huge impact, because when people think about the future of dispute resolution being AI, I mean, I put it into the AI and the AI will tell you who is guilty or who should win. Well, it depends on what AI you use, because if you use an AI, Claude, it can tell you one thing. If you use ChatGPT, a different thing. And this is of extremely high consequence. I don't know, William, if you want to mention how the different models, some of them are very much in favor of the consumer and others in favor of the company in the consumer claims that we analyze at Kleros, and to give a concrete example on how this works.
Yeah, I mean, like in a specific experiment that we did where we gave Claude and a version of Claude and a version of ChatGPT sort of the historical Lemon cases. So these are between clients of Lemon, this Argentinian crypto exchange, and the company. It was interesting that they sort of agreed with the jury at similar rates. Sorry. So their overall rate of agreement with the human beings, the Kleros jury, a priori human beings, were similar, but the cases where they diverged from the Kleros jury were very different. I think ChatGPT, I may have this backwards, but I think ChatGPT was much less likely to favor the user. So whenever they diverged from the Kleros jury, it was almost always Kleros would vote for the user and ChatGPT voted for the company. Whereas Claude was much more balanced. Sometimes it voted for the user, and the Kleros voted for the company, and sometimes the reverse. These are probably not systematic aspects of Claude or ChatGPT. They depend on exactly which model you use and how it responds to the prompt. And if you, as a user, we're noticing this phenomenon, maybe you could prompt it slightly differently. But probably whatever your prompt is, there will be some divergences, and it's how do you manage that is something to be aware of.
Yeah, and also there are different things happening here at the same time. Some has to do with bias, some model, siding with some particular side more often than others, like consumer or company. But also other things can have a lot to do with noise. It's there is not a particular bias or a systematic bias, but depends on when you ask the model. This would give a different decision, and this was mentioned in the conference. You could have a model that when you use it in the morning of West Coast America can give you a different decision than when you use it in the morning on East Coast, because of how the company is routing, the traffic and the effort it puts into decisions. It's similar to other things we have researched in the past about noise happening into the decision making of actual judges or arbitrators. There's studies that we have worked with the past, like, for example, if you have a judge make a decision about cases like the day after his football team lost in the university championship, like he will be like tried like ruling in particular way. Or if you ask the person to do it and after lunch, his decision will be different before lunch. So like those of different things also seem to be affecting the AIs, and in particular when you have like not only different models have different decisions because of their training, but also the same model when you have a newer version, an updated version. You go from Claude 4 to 5. It also can change the decision. So this is something that we are researching very actively, because in the end you will need not a model but a panel of models that will look a lot like what is currently being done in the traditional human ecosystem of jurors, dispute resolution. So those are some of the things that we are seeing and that we got the chance to discuss in front of a really expert audience, and we got asked a lot of questions about the legitimacy of decisions. We got asked lots of questions about when this idea of conflict of interest, financialization, and also lots of the objections people have to Kleros are mostly directed to the Kleros version 1.0, or what we call in general centralized justice, like third generation models, financialized, anonymous, token-based voting, which is fine because it was the way that you could build this when we were starting, because there were no identity systems and all that. Now Kleros is way more sophisticated than what it was before. But I think it kind of stick the people that Kleros is like this system based on pure token voting. And so a bit of our work now is like, Kleros is also this system which is financialized and there is sharing points and all that, but it's more than that. And our goal in the few years that we have been doing research is say, how can we build something that is more sophisticated and that can have like a better design of the mechanism? So it's not just technically secure and all that we need for the study, but something that is more legally compliant for being able to be used in more like legal settings, more countries, in more jurisdictions, and also something that is more perceived as a fair system of dispute resolution, which is also important, because if people don't trust it as a fair system, as a legitimate system, they won't use it. So that's not what we want. So all of these things were discussed in a room that had audiences that they don't usually are in the same room. You don't typically have like lawyers interacting with game theorists and mechanism designers. So this is the kind of things that you can do at Oxford because of the critical mass of smart people from different branches and walks of life, if you want. So anything else we should mention? One thing I also want to mention. So about the speakers that came to our legal panel was Florian Grisel. He's a researcher from Oxford, of course, and also the commission. What is the CNRS? Is the Comité National de la Recherche Scientifique. I think from France. It's like a government. Maybe I didn't get perfectly right, but it's like a research institute by the French government for the researchers of different topics, and he's part of that committee of that institution and professor at Oxford. And then and he's actually an expert in like private governance systems and how funding the commons kind of thing. You have a commons and then you have to make decisions, and how do you make sure that there is no tragedy of the commons where you have different people trying to free ride the others and not putting their fair share. So this is kind of Elinor Armstrong type of research. And then we had also Nicole Stremlau, who is a professor in the digital media at Oxford. And then, she's interested in like the social media, content moderation stuff. She presented a bit like use cases that we also discussed a lot in the past. I mean, how can you use Kleros for content moderation? So this type of use cases of the digital world and esports and those types of things. So yeah, and there you have myself, and then we have this beautiful. Maybe William, you can tell us. I mean, who is allowed to walk on the grass? In those places.
I mean, my understanding is that the tradition at like the Oxford Bridge universities is that like in order, they have these college systems where you have these like historic college buildings that have like this courtyard, and in order, they also have like an academic society, affiliated with them, so you'll be a fellow at a college. And my understanding is that historically the tradition is in order to walk on the grass, you have to be a fellow of the college. Some colleges, I think, are more strict about that than others.
Do you know that, Gene, that you need to have to be a fellow so you can walk on the grass?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean that's I guess some traditions. So yeah, it was really amazing. It's for us. I mean, at Kleros, it's like having the doors open of these places for us is like a privilege that gives like access to things that very critical for like a success of the project, in the sense of like access to talent, access to like legitimacy in a place where people are like arguing, discussing things that are basically the future. Well, I mean, we have tons of things. It took us a long time to get to this, but like now it's like a extremely important, asset that Kleros as a project has. That is really, I mean, it's a result of many years of hard work and of serious work, if you want. So so this was really impressive. Honestly, it was great. So we did that at Oxford, and then we finished at the University of Edinburgh. I will let William. Do you want to tell us a bit more, so I don't do all the talking?
Yeah. So I mean, this was maybe similar. I gave like similar content to the talk at Oxford. It was kind of a mixed audience. I think we were hosted by people in the law faculty, but there were some computer scientists there. People asked me some like pointed questions about game theory. Generally got some good conversations and some good feedback. So again, a theme was this sort of like transition of like, what are these like new mechanisms that are available in Kleros 2.0, and how does that like change the game theory, and what does that make possible?
Well, Edinburgh, Scotland, Adam Smith, David Hume. There are some, actually some brains came out of that place. Go to the other like picture, Gene, that you shared before. The other one with William. Yeah. I mean, the guy in the middle there, he's a cryptographer. I mean, do you know who Adam Back is? Because if you know who Adam Back is, you will see. He looks a lot like Adam Back. Maybe he's. Adam Back is probably. I mean, the New York Times made this research some time ago about Adam Back being Satoshi Nakamoto, which he denied. But I was giving the talk, and I was saying, I mean, he does look a lot like Adam Back. I mean, you can check William or like Gene, in some place and see. He's actually cited in the Satoshi white paper, and I mean, we had Adam Back, in our conference, or his twin brother, I would say even. So yeah, it was a really cool conference. This was organized by Morshed Mannan. Morshed is a old friend of Kleros. Morshed is part of the Blockchain Gov organization, and they do research about the Lex Cryptographica and the connections with traditional legal systems. And well, he's like basically the partner and co-author of many papers and research with Primavera de Filippi, who is like one of the founders of the blockchain and the law ecosystem and discipline. I mean, she's like a really OG, the big OG, I would say. I think Nick Szabo and Primavera maybe at the same level, of legal, and blockchain. So that's and Morshed is working very closely with them. So that was the Edinburgh talk also. And I think that's it. Anything else we should mention, William, about UK tour? I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I think you summarized it well.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, William. And let's move to the next thing for today. What do we have, Gene, for today? Salvo?
We have Lucía here, but before Lucía, just would like to mention a couple of events that we have been participating. Apart from that, so part of the team was at Manifest in California. It was this weekend. This Manifest conference is kind of a prediction market main conference, and we had the presence of Robin Hanson there. Robin Hanson, as probably people here already know, he is the creator of futarchy, or the proposer of using prediction markets for decisions. And we actually had him on a previous on a podcast episode that I really recommend. And well, a couple of team members were at this conference, and as you know, we have a couple of ways that Kleros interacts with prediction markets. There's right now another round of the Kleros Foresight movie experiment, which is a way of using prediction markets to predict what a single person will judge, in this case, the rating of a movie. And we already ran one of these experiments with Clement a couple of months ago, and we were running another one. The results that we got in the first time were pretty good. They were better than ChatGPT and the algorithm of this of a site that Clement used. So we are doing that again to see if it gets better than ChatGPT that knows what Clement's like. So that's the main objective now. And of course, the idea is not is to use for things that are more serious than that. And there are a couple of different options, and one of the options that is more closer to being to being used right now is to use that to assign the projects that should receive granting or should get funding. And there's actually also another experiment going on right now, which is called deep funding. And the idea is to distribute funds to contributors of the Ethereum protocol. And so instead of having people judging each different relationship between dependencies, you have jurors reviewing a couple of these interactions, and prediction markets extrapolating what they will do for the other ones. And I think it's pretty close to ending this other experiment. So we will have Clement explaining what the results are. And also part of the team was at ETHConf that was held in New York. And this is more, let's say, enterprise-focused conference, Ethereum conference. And they were, the main attraction was the tokenization, stable coins, and how to use Ethereum as an economic infrastructure, let's say. So it's also good that we have had a bit of a presence in that conference. And right now the team is at DAppCon in Berlin. We think we basically go every year, and right. And this time we have Fortunato there, Alex, Clement, and JB, and a couple of other team members. So if you're listening, you're in Berlin, reach out to them. You might still be able to catch them.
I think we should also mention, Jean, that we are organizing, but we're not organizing, we are supporting the SubTech conference that's going to happen from 24th to 26th of June in Buenos Aires. This is a conference that is about legal innovation that has been running since 1990. Actually, it was a really old conference when nobody was speaking about any of this technology. There is this gentleman called Mark Lauritsen, who is innovator in the world of law and technology, and himself with different people who back then were a bit like crazy people thinking about technology and law when nobody was doing that. Started hosting this conference. I think I don't remember what the first one was, but they started holding that in different places. These were people like Harvard, professors, Oxford professors, very high level people. And they have held this conference in lots of different places, Vienna, up to the top of my mind, Singapore, Paris, New York, London, all of the big cities. And I was invited. It's usually they do this by invite, and they have to invite you. But they're trying to open it now a bit more. But in 2024, I was actually invited to participate in that in the edition that they made in Chicago at the University of Northwestern University, which very important university from the U.S. From legal things, and then went there. Lots of good friends spoke there as well. Some of them we have mentioned in these calls for a while. I mean, one of them was Amy Schmitz. Amy Schmitz is a professor at the Ohio State University, and she's a co-author with Colin Rule of a book about spiritual solution called The New Handshake. And so there is that. Another one was Megan Ma, who is at Stanford, Codex Institution, and many other people from universities from around the world, and also some practitioners from different law. In that conference, actually, I sometimes tell this story. Maybe worth mentioning. I was speaking. Those were a bit more the early days of ChatGPT and LLM. Not that early because it was already 2024, so already there has been, I don't know when it was launched, it's free, ChatGPT or something like that. Well, and I was speaking with one of legal counsel of a very important American company, and they had lots of disputes with consumers, and they have, by the way it's organized, they had disputes in different states, and then they had law firms to which they outsource the legal work in each state. It's a huge company. And one of the things that he was telling me, was that he was seeing how the AI was transforming the way they worked, and in the sense that now when they hire one of those outsourced firms to handle some part of the legal work, they just went to the firm with and told them, guys, this is what we already know with ChatGPT. We're going to pay you only. You are going to bill us the hours that will add value on top of this. But we're not going to pay you for you to just ChatGPT your way into billing us a lot of money. So it was really, we think it was changing drastically the way in which they were working. It was when I speak about the use of AI in spiritual solution, this is how it looks like for practitioners who are under pressure to cut costs and cut budgets in their companies, and this is exactly how it works. And this is what he told me. I usually tell this to people because it was really, really, really interesting. So I had that conversation that I told this in different places, happened actually in that conference. Other people, and the keynote was actually given by the CEO of the American Arbitration Association. So it was this very high level thing. So after that finished, they wanted to, for the first time, try to bring this conference to Southern Hemisphere to make a bit more diverse audience and increase their reach to other communities that they were not reaching. And I helped them connect to Argentinian universities, in particular Universidad de San Andrés, which is one of the most important universities in Argentina, finally, after all of the organization we went through and all of the things, this is going to happen June 24 to 26. If you are in Argentina and you want to, rest a bit of the World Cup, you can go there because it's going to be an opportunity that is very hard. People don't have this opportunity in Argentina to interact with some of the people who are top of the top of legal innovation. So if you are into the legal innovation game, I think you should try to go. Jean, you can share the link with people so they can see that. Okay, so that is worth mentioning. And do you have anything else, Jean?
Yep, we have Lucía here. Let me add her to the chat. I don't know if she will have the jersey of Argentina.
No, I don't.
Do you have an Argentinian theme?
I feel so sad. No, I don't have an Argentinian t-shirt. This is the worst. I don't want to confess this, but yesterday
Well, if
I
we
was
lose, we're going to blame you. Because of the breaking. The yeah. Go on.
hopefully, yeah, yesterday I was asking, my brothers to borrow, to give me one of their t-shirts, and they didn't wanted to. But yeah, I am so excited for the World Cup. I mean, I am not a really football person, but of course, when the World Cup comes, it's different, and I watch every Argentinian game, of course. But yeah, regarding Kleros Enterprise updates, we have some things going on. First of all, there is an NGO from Asia that unites like an ecosystem of people that works to improve the access to justice and make it more digital and accessible, that reach out to us, which was quite interesting to talk with them, because especially they are very interested in how our process works for governments and how we manage to actually implement our system in different municipalities. So we are still talking with them and see if we can, of course, exchange knowledge and help them if possible. So that's something really interesting that happened the last weeks. And apart from that, we are working. I mean, I might be able to tell more next week, but we are working with Facu regarding testing private courts for Kleros and improving how jurors access the evidence, because the goal is to make everything, to make the process easier for the jurors, and also even more private, because now, as you know, we manually anonymize every evidence that we received, and we manually review everything, and this process takes us some days to finish. So with this new process that we are trying to test, it will reduce even more the amount of time that it takes to solve a case, which is great. And we will see if we can test it as soon as possible. And hopefully next week I can share more with you about this specific thing. And then lastly, regarding Kleros Enterprise, we are also doing some research on different platforms in different countries where users can submit complaints. These platforms usually, I mean, they are not like focused on the legal part, but more, I mean, the business value, it's related with brand reputation. So usually when you enter these platforms, you can see all of the complaints and if they were answered by the company or not. And we are doing some research and exploring if there could be some, business opportunity for Kleros to help these platforms solve cases where the dispute persists, or maybe even when users have like unfair disputes or unfair complaints, to see if we could help them with that. And I think that's mainly it.
Yeah.
As the usual. Yeah, Fede, I don't know if you want
Yeah.
to.
No, I mean that's really interesting. I mean, I just to mention, because of these platforms that we are contacting now, it's like I mean, when we speak of the law, we are used to think of like a criminal, going to jail, trial, But the thing is that for most of the history of humankind, people, the enforcement was not done through going to jail. I mean, it was done either by execution, but I mean, we don't want that. But no, in the commercial matters, it was a very important tool for enforcement of decisions of court was ostracism. If you didn't comply with a court ruling, a private court ruling, because there was many times decisions were made by peers, other merchants would resolve merchant disputes in the lex mercatoria in the Middle Ages. You don't comply, you're not going to go to jail, but you are going to be out of the community and you are going to lose access to your living. I mean, so you can. So this was in how law was enforced in many cases, and these platforms are like doing something similar. It's kind of a reputational enforcement on people who don't comply with their agreements or their work. They just go end up outside of the community, and they kind of lose the way to keep interacting and transacting with the good actors, right? This could be linked with also at Oxford. One of the moderator of the first panel about law is called Fernanda Pirie. Fernanda Pirie is the author of a great book called The Rule of Laws, where she reviews how humans have organized their legal system since antiquity. I think she starts with even before Hammurabi, and she says how common law was born and how humans have organized all of their systems for making rules in lots of different ways, of which criminal systems are just a little part of them, but it was not even the most common way of doing that. If you want to learn more about this, I do recommend that book. She's a very big expert. The world's leading expert in Tibet law, actually. The Tibet legal system is quite particular for reasons I'm not going to go into now, but she's the world leading expert, and she's the world leading expert in rule of law, basically. And as we usually say, we are Kleros some way to the degree that it's possible to do that in this online setting, trying to produce some effect that is similar to what the rule of law does in the offline world. Try to produce predictability, reduce uncertainty of whether a contract will be complied with or not. So all of these things we try to bring into the online ecosystem, and blockchain is a good tool for that. I think it was worth mentioning because these platforms are trying to do something similar through reputational means and to produce some way to produce similar to rule of law. So lots of things coming there. Also following very closely some developments that happened in Argentina. As well, it's already public. There was this proposal by Milei on change to the Argentinian corporate governance legislation. It's a project that was going to be sent to the Argentinian Congress to be approved or not, or with modifications. And this is extremely important for Kleros, and this is why I'm following this closely, because one of the parts of this project is about allowing corporate entities made in Argentina to choose their legal. What's that? Yeah. Oh no, the police is here. Speaking of, so these entities, imagine you have an entity, you can choose what law you want to use for resolving your dispute. If you have a dispute in your company, okay, we are going to use Hong Kong, Singapore, Switzerland, or why not Kleros? It would be super awesome. It's legal. Jurisdictions this is one of the main things on which the arbitration frameworks have been built in the global ecosystem. So this is extremely important. It's quite controversial, and you have seen that Harari answered to that, but a different part, in particular, this also project includes the idea of having AIs being owners of legal entities. So there are different things here which I'm following closely because it's potentially very relevant for us. So I'm not going to go more into detail, but this is interesting. Okay, so thank you, Lucia. Do you have anything else? Because I have just one final thing to say. Do you have to say something before?
I think we have a couple of small things, but there is now a dispute in the technical court about a transaction that was sent to the Proof of Humanity governor, and I think this is probably another. We can say it's another attack on this governor. It already repelled one attack, I think 1 or 2 years ago, And so if you are staking in Discord, make sure you vote on this proposal, on this case. And regarding the Kleros Curate and Scout, we recently launched like what we call the definitive version of Scout. So we basically went out of the beta, so it's now finished. But still, we're open for feedback. And one of the most interesting things is that it now shows the amount of items that are being tagged, counting all the Kleros Scout lists. So we last time I checked, it was 2.6 million entries. So this is like a very good number of entries that are identified by Kleros, and there are other initiatives that are working on making human readable transactions and identifying contracts in the blockchain. One by the Ethereum Foundation is called Clear Signing. So we are moving alongside the rest of the industry to get the information that needs to be shown on block explorers, on wallets, on wherever that needs to display something that is not like an hexadecimal that nobody understands. So yeah, I think these are the two main things that we have. Oh, another thing is that there are some discussions in the forum, the Kleros forum. And if you are a part of Kleros, I recommend you to check the forum and always keep updated with the DAO proposals, because we have been having more proposals lately.
Okay. Just for me, one last thing. I mean, my wife reminded me today. So this is actually an important day, because today, exactly 10 years ago, I was going to Singularity. I was taking the airplane, the flight to Singularity to spend there like a few months in the Silicon Valley. This is very, very early. This was before Kleros, but already was researching, like centralized justice ideas, and I won this like grant from the Buenos Aires government to go there, spend like 3 months in Silicon Valley in NASA headquarters with like 79 other like people. I mean, all of them obviously more brilliant than me. Was a bit the imposter there. But and this, this was like a very emotional thing, because that's how it started. When I was just a little guy from far away Buenos Aires. I mean, who is I had this idea, who is like going to pay attention to me, and me like winning that grant. This was like a way to go to a place where I kind of like learned that you can do it. If you are you have the drive and the motivation for going and doing it. People got to meet like founders from very important companies there, and they all started like we started, like very with a bit of a dream. And the thing is that after I came back to Buenos Aires after that like life changing experience, that's when Kleros started. I think that just a few, I would say, weeks after I came back from that experience. So I don't know, like it's just to me, I was told like right before, like it was 10 years now. So it took a long time. But if you ask me, do you imagine that you will have like this project that is going to be invited to Oxford to like work with the governments, invited to teach. We teach blockchain and distributed solution to French judges, for example. Lots of things that I were like hard to imagine in the early days. For just a little guy from like far away. So I guess, I don't know, maybe chase your dreams, kind of thing, because it's sometimes, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's more possible than what most people think, because especially when you have like these networks and stuff. If I did it, anyone can, basically. Yeah. So I guess that's a very good way to finish this call. Also before I start crying, so yeah. Yeah. Anything else you have to mention, Jean? Or that's...
I think this is a good ending. Keep going, let's say.
keep going on, as I say, onwards.
Yeah, because there are some things that only happen with time. I would say too, right? It's hard to change everything super fast, but after 10 years, things start to happen. Let's say.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So change your dreams. Believe in yourself, and and onwards. Thank you, guys. See you next Monday for the Spanish community call. Bye bye.
See you.